Live at the scene of a shooting that left one teenager dead and another hurt. That person's condition tonight at 5.
First One weather team has been talking about alert day conditions for Thursday, overnight, and Friday for days, and that is what's in the forecast. I'm going to show you where the track of heaviest snow will likely set up.
Plus, a major announcement why the most powerful Republican in Wisconsin says he's retiring. You're watching News 3 now at 5. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us in. Eric Franke and Susan Simon have the day off. After a stretch of spring-like weather, our First Warn weather team is tracking alert day conditions for, let's say it together, snow. Meteorologist Alex Harrington is in the studio with a look at what that means for your Friday morning commute. Alex.
Brady, let's break this all down here. This weather system will be impactful. It will be rapidly strengthening overnight. Heavy wet snow and windy conditions will develop, and the peak will be between midnight Friday morning and 9 a.m. Friday morning. That's going to impact and cause a slow morning commute. There will be a sharp cutoff in snowfall amounts as well. We'll discuss more about that in just a moment here. Again, we've been discussing alert day conditions here for the better part of a few days, and this is that time frame, Thursday overnight through Friday afternoon. This is for areas in and near Madison, and especially areas northwest of Madison where some hefty snow totals could certainly pile up overnight. Future track showing showers, a couple of thunderstorms developing. Madison and areas off towards the south and east that mix towards the north and west. This is giving us an update right now as we speak. 2-3 o'clock in the morning, that rain is mixing with and changing over to heavy wet snow over southwest Wisconsin. As we move towards 4, 5, 6 o'clock, it changes over in the Madison area as we start the commute, and as we move through the commute, that we had that continuation of that heavy wet snow moving through 10 o'clock, lasting potentially as long as the noon hour. Strong winds also causing reduced visibilities before everything ends as we get into the early afternoon hours of Friday. This is what we're thinking for snowfall totals. I've been mentioning Prairie du Chien up through Richland Center, up through Wisconsin Dells, and up through the Camp Douglas and Adams area of 6 to 8 inches. Some locally higher amounts possible, but I want to be abundantly clear. Southern Wisconsin, Madison areas to the south and east, there could be a very sharp cutoff in snow from a dusting to an inch to the heavier amounts just north and west of Madison. We're keeping a close track on that. Brady.
Thank you, Alex. To continuing coverage of a shooting this morning that left one teenager dead and another hurt. This happened on North Lawn Avenue on Madison's north side in the Eakin Park area. A heavy police presence was there throughout the morning and the afternoon. And that's where we find our Maya Tate. She's been on scene all day. So Maya, what do we know about the injured person's condition?
Brady, police tell me that the other teenager is in critical condition. Officers responded to the home at around 9:20 this morning. The teenager who died had an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police also told me that the teenagers were in the same home and knew each other.
I just asked the community to think of this particular family and keep them in their thoughts and support them if possible, because this is a very unimaginable tragedy for them to have to process.
I talked to a neighbor in the area who said they didn't hear anything this morning and were unaware of anything going on until police arrived. MPD says they spoke to everyone at the scene and there is not a threat to the community. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story over the air and online at channel3000.com. For now, reporting live from Madison, Maya Tate, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maya. And you can receive updates directly to your phone on this story and all other local breaking and developing news with the free Channel 3000 mobile app. One of Wisconsin's most powerful Republicans has announced today he will not seek re-election. Political reporter Ellie LaLiberte joins us now. So Ellie, why is Speaker Voss saying that he's retiring?
Yeah, well, there's been speculation over the future of his career for months now. And while he says he's been thinking of retiring for the better portion of 2025, the decision that really pushed him towards that decision was a mild heart attack he had in November. So Robin Voss was first elected in the Assembly in 2004. He stepped into the role of Speaker in 2013 and held that position longer than anyone else in Wisconsin history. The Speaker got emotional today on the Assembly floor as he made that announcement.
What made the biggest impact was regular people coming up to you in the coffee shop or wherever it was to tell you their opinion, even if you didn't want to hear it. There were moments of real pressure, moments when the institution itself was being tested. And I am so incredibly proud that all of us were able to stand together.
Robin Vos is one of the state's most dominant politicians. Some of his most critical political moves include working with former Governor Scott Walker to pass Act 10. That's legislation that effectively ended collective bargaining for public employees. He was also criticized by President Donald Trump for not immediately investigating the president's loss in the state following the 2020 election. And before Tony Evers took office in 2019, Speaker Vos also passed legislation that restricted the governor's power.
This is a major announcement, and I have to wonder, what does this mean for the future of politics here?
Yeah, well, it's something Democrats, I'm sure, are very excited about right now. They're looking to flip that chamber. They need just 5 seats to do it, so I'm sure they're looking to put one of their own now in Vos's seat.
We will see what happens, and I know you'll be covering it all. Thank you, Ellie.
Thanks, Brady.
Well, we have a statement from Governor Tony Evers on Speaker Vos's retirement. It reads in part, "Being in public service is challenging and can be thankless work. I understand that better than most." Governor Evers goes on to say, "For your sacrifices and your service over the years, thank you, Mr. Speaker." Within the last hour, a bill to expand Medicaid coverage for new moms has passed the Assembly. The bill has already been approved by the Senate, meaning now all it needs is the governor's approval. The bill increases postpartum Medicaid coverage from 2 months to a year after a baby is born. The issue is something Democrats and a majority of Republicans have wanted for years. A local doula agrees.
Having mothers only receiving care and really only like one time visiting the doctor in that 6 weeks can be really dangerous for mothers, for their babies, and especially for families.
This brings Wisconsin in line with the vast majority of the country, Wisconsin being just one of 2 states that currently does not have expanded postpartum coverage. Earlier in the floor session, the Assembly approved a bill that would legalize online sports betting in Wisconsin. Would allow the practice to happen through the state's tribal casinos. This would not, however, give Wisconsinites access to popular online platforms like DraftKings and FanDuel. The Senate will have to approve the bill before it can go to the governor's desk. The vice president of the Madison School Board is officially charged for an incident police say happened in December. Prosecutors have charged Maya Pearson with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. Police say she was a passenger in a car that was driving recklessly. Pearson is also a member of Madison's Police Civilian Oversight Board. News 3 Now has contacted the Madison School District and the City of Madison, but we haven't heard back from either. Also charged for this incident, Urban Triage CEO and founder Brandy Grayson. Police say Grayson was behind the wheel, driving over cones near the Majestic when officers pulled her over. Grayson also allegedly refused to get out. Then officers reported she smelled of intoxicants and refused to take a sobriety test. Both she and Pearson will be back in court next month. The Madison Police Department is asking for your help to find a missing woman. This is 23-year-old Catherine McIntosh. Police say she was last seen yesterday on the city's west side. She was wearing a blue sweatshirt, red pants, and carrying a black blanket. Police say she ran away from her group home. Well, let's get a closer look at where she was last seen. Police say McIntosh was in the area of Gammon Lane and Park Edge Drive. That's not too far from Elver Park. Anyone with information about where she could be, please submit a tip online at p3tips.com. In 2025, Wisconsin saw a surge in filed Chapter 12 bankruptcies. Increased financial pressures have caused substantial problems for family farms all over our state. Nash Dara shows us why. Nash.
Brady, farming financial pressures today have caused for a jump in the amount of filed Chapter 12 bankruptcies. A number that was just 2 in 2024 went all the way up to 16 just a year later. But what caused such a drastic change?
Why do we as a policy allow prices for products that farmers produce to be so low that they can't afford to produce them?
David Kreckler, a practicing attorney at Kreckler Law SC, shared with me, in 2020, Congress created a new form of bankruptcy for small businesses called Subchapter 5. When it was created, it came with a debt limit of $2.5 million, but bounced up and down between that and $7 million. In 2024, that number was then set at $3 million, changing where some farmers were categorized, causing them to file for Chapter 12 bankruptcy due to having a debt limit of $12.5 million, a problem that shows underlying issues for family-owned farms.
Farmers have all the problems that every small business has, and then you have to throw on top of it 2 other things. One is the subsidies and price regulation. Farmers don't get to charge whatever they want for their milk. And then, of course, weather. They still have trouble with labor, as do many other industries, but interest and inflation has been a killer for farmers.
Katie Schultz, an owner of Trifecta Farms in Fox Lake, shared some of the issues farmers are going through during what she says is a generational storm.
Right now, we're in a place where our commodity prices are extremely low. Nothing right now is going to make you a lot of money. We're seeing interest rates really, we've seen them go from 3 to 4%, and now we're at anywhere from 8 to 11%. And so that just makes things really difficult to continue to operate on a long-term basis.
However, keeping family-owned farms alive is a cornerstone for Wisconsin, something that Schultz says is hard work, but is as equally rewarding. Brady Kreckler also shared Chapter 12 bankruptcy as a very effective form of relief that allows farmers to reorganize and eliminate debt while still being able to farm and pay off loans for an extended period of time.
Thank you, Nash. Still to come on News 3 Now at 5, heart health disparities. Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn shows us why the risk of heart disease is even higher for people of color and how to fight it. Plus, the First Warn Weather Team is tracking alert day conditions for a snowstorm headed to some areas in southern Wisconsin. When we're back, Alex tells us the timing of that weather system. And here's a quick check on Wall Street today. The Dow dropped 268 points. The Nasdaq is down 71. The S&P 500 is down 19. February is both American Heart Month and Black History Month. While heart disease is the #1 killer of American adults, the risk is higher for people of color. Tonight, consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn shows us why.
Black Americans are 30% more likely to die from heart disease than white Americans. But it's not because of their race, it's because of socioeconomic factors, and it's completely preventable. Dr. Michelle Robinson is in remission after a 2019 onset hypertension diagnosis.
Oftentimes when it comes down to a chronic disease diagnosis, there is often a lot of shame that also comes with that diagnosis.
She says healing doesn't happen alone, it happens in community.
Far too many of us are either being sick with heart disease or dying early with heart disease, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Adding race is not a genetic factor, but a social reality.
So there are genes that we all have, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Asian or other, but those genes are not the main drivers of heart disease.
Social detriments like nutrition, healthcare access, financial resources, and housing drive heart health disparities in Black communities.
Hypertension is often one of the first signs of heart disease onset.
Pediatric cardiologist Dr. Rock says it's more common in young Black Americans.
Much like many people in their 20s, don't always regularly see a physician for routine health maintenance. And that is another major risk factor for a delayed diagnosis.
You might learn that you have hypertension much later.
Early recognition and access to care are critical.
Knowing your blood pressure, knowing your heart disease risk factors. There are multiple community sites where people can check their blood pressure without having to see a physician, without having to be billed for that.
The Black Women's Wellness Center is one resource.
We have a set of community health workers who are trained, so individuals can come to our site and they can come in and get their blood pressure reading checked.
Community support can change the story.
To show that it is possible that even if you do get that diagnosis, it is still possible for you to turn it around.
Controlling blood pressure significantly lowers your risk of developing those later complications.
Adding more physical activity helps.
It's beneficial for many health issues,
including blood pressure, cholesterol, heart health, but also mental, physical, and digestive health.
So even if that means I'm starting to go from 0 to walking 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, anything that's going to allow you to start using that muscle, because the heart is a muscle. It is when we move, we're using that muscle, we're helping it get stronger, we're helping it practice circulating our blood and those types of things. Movement is life.
Heart disease is preventable with the right resources. You can join Dr. Robinson and the American Heart Association in raising heart health awareness with their Go Red Day at the Goodman Center. That's this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
Thank you, Michelle Renee. And you can find all of News 3 Now's Black History Month stories online at channel3000.com. To our weather now. Alex is back with a look at our forecast and when we can expect those alert day conditions.
Brady, we can expect those to develop overnight tonight from approximately midnight going through at least noon on Friday. We've been mentioning alert day conditions for days now as a potential for heavy wet snow, totals exceeding 6 inches in some areas, especially northwest of Madison. Let's get tracking this right now with Future Track showing that dividing line from Madison to Mineral Point to Platteville at 11, 12 o'clock to the north and west. Heavy wet snow to the south and east. Rain and a few thunderstorms as we head towards 2 o'clock in the morning. That mix of rain and snow inches closer to Madison. All snow over southwest Wisconsin. By the time we start the Friday morning commute, Madison down to Janesville, heavy wet snow developing. Areas to the west of Madison continuing to see that heavy wet snow with strong gusty winds. The weather system still keeping at least light to moderate snow through the 10 o'clock hour along the I-39, I-94 corridor before it's out of here by the time we head towards the noon hour. This is our snowfall projection. I was mentioning the past 2 days, eyeing up Prairie du Chien to Richland Center to Wisconsin Dells, likely seeing the heaviest band of 6 to 8 inches. There could be a localized area, small thin band that's even higher than that. But I want to be abundantly clear, and I'm going to say this all evening. Madison, perhaps 2 to 4 inches, maybe an inch or less in the Janesville area. There will be a very sharp cutoff in snowfall amounts from Madison and areas to the south and east. Madison, you're right in the middle. You're in the crosshairs here. Dane County is that dividing line of the heavy snow to the northwest to perhaps very little to nothing to the south and east as you head towards Janesville. Regardless if we get an inch or if you get 8, strong gusty winds will reduce visibilities when that snow falls. As we head through the Friday morning time frame, gusting at times up to 40 miles per hour, even through the noon hour. Not expecting a significant threat of blowing and drifting because this will be the very heavy, wet variety of snow. So when it comes time to clearing this snow, you're going to need to take some extra breaks because this is the heavy stuff, the heavy, wet stuff that's difficult to shovel. We don't want folks to run into any health circumstances with this heavy, wet snow. Blaze mentioned I would call out what advisories and warnings we have out there. We have a winter storm warning for southwest Wisconsin. This includes Platteville, Richland Center, Baraboo, the Dells, Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake counties, Darlington, and Dodgeville. That goes until 9 a.m. Friday morning, and winter weather advisories are in effect for the Madison area until noon on Friday. Lesser amounts again of snow, Madison and areas southeast, the heavier amounts in the pink area over southwest Wisconsin, which we just eyed up. Where is this weather system right now? I'm going to just take a step to the back here and see if I can give you radar 3000. There we go. All that snow is developing right now as we speak here in Iowa as that weather system takes shape, and then that weather system is going to be again moving off towards the north and towards the east. We'll be on the north side of that weather system, and that's why we will see that rain mixing with and changing over to snow. Let's recap here. The system will rapidly strengthen overnight. That heavy wet snow will develop from northwest to southeast. The peak will be from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Friday, and expect a slow morning commute. And again, a sharp cutoff in snowfall amounts is very likely for areas south and east of Madison. We'll keep a close eye on that. And the reason why, this weather system, as it rapidly strengthens, the air in the column cools very quickly. It changes the rain over to snow very quickly and causes high winds. Any cyclone or any changes in the strength and the track of this weather system will make a huge difference in snowfall totals. So be sure to tune in at 6 and at 10 o'clock for the very latest as we continue to track on Radar 3000 and Future Track. Lows tonight in the upper 20s, trade around 30. Highs tomorrow struggling in the 30s as cold air moves in from the north and from the west. Behind this weather system, breezy conditions continue through the upcoming weekend, and temperatures fall to where they should be for this time of year. So bye-bye to that spring-like weather that we had. This is now our price that we pay. As we've been mentioning now for the better part of 10 days, this was coming. In the past 2 days, we've been saying alert day conditions are likely going to materialize in southern Wisconsin with this weather system. That looks likely.
Nothing is free except for our mobile apps, everyone. I'm pretty lucky because I get to see behind the scenes all the work that you and the weather team does to make these decisions, and now you're giving that to other people out there.
That's right. We have a Severe Weather Ready special that the First Storm Weather Team has been working on. It's an informative and exciting weather special. It's time for you to get severe weather ready, even though we're tracking snow right now. The special will feature how watches and warnings are issued, the latest research on southern Wisconsin, Wisconsin's severe weather season, what goes into issuing alert days, and how the First Warn Weather Team conducts severe weather drills to always be ready to use the latest severe weather tracking technologies to keep you safe from severe weather. It airs next Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. right here on Channel 3.
I think that's really interesting because I always wonder, like, how do they decide about the alert days? And now we'll get to see.
You'll get to tune in and get to be part of the decision-making process.
Thanks, Alex. Well, still ahead at 5, the latest from Washington, D.C. as the president considers his next moves if Iran doesn't eliminate its nuclear program.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
In national news, President Donald Trump is considering his next moves if Iran does not agree to end its nuclear program. We're learning national security officials have presented the president with military options. President Trump has also ordered a buildup of U.S. forces in the region, setting a timeline for Iran to comply or face consequences.
We may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
Members of Congress plan to force a vote as soon as next week on a war powers resolution, and that would require congressional approval before any military action is taken. King Charles' younger brother Andrew was arrested this morning in connection with his ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A warning, some of these images are disturbing. Police arrested Andrew on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Specifically, they're looking into whether Andrew shared confidential government information with Epstein during his time as a British trade envoy. This marks the first time a senior British royal has been arrested in almost 400 years. The family of Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide after accusing Andrew of assault, called today's arrest a victory.
This is just such a win for Virginia and for all survivors out there, truly.
King Charles says the royal family will cooperate with investigators, saying the law must take its course. Stay with us. Alex has a final check of our weather when we're back. Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, the Green Bay Packers brace to lose their backup quarterback to free agency this offseason. Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde shares what general manager Brian Gutekunst had to say about Malik Willis. And our spring weather, that was a touchdown for a lot of people, but it's not going into overtime. Snow is making a return.
It's making a return. In some cases, very heavy snow. We have alert day conditions that are that we are highlighting for Thursday overnight. That's tonight from midnight tonight through noon on Friday, especially for areas north and west of Madison, where some areas could see in excess of 6 inches of snow, 6 to 8 inches of snow. Here's that snowfall map here. If we can get my graphics to move. There we go. The highest amounts north and west of Madison. The latest in some of the complexities of this system at 6.
And everyone be careful tomorrow. Give yourselves some extra time. News 3 Now at 5 is done. We will see you in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.